Hello, Barmy Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome to the show. Yes, this is our first on the bench where I'm clean shaven-ish. Anyway.
Shocking, isn't it?
Shocking anyway. Don't worry, guys. Everyone, we set the small indie YouTube scene on fire by me shaving, but it will come back soon, I promise. We'll get the formalities out of the way. I am today 1 year older, which is very scary.
Happy birthday to you. I went to the zoo. I saw a big badger and it reminded me of you.
Oh, thanks, darling.
Happy birthday, Badger Steve. Mwah.
Ah! Thanks very much. Right, now, today, obviously it being Halloween, we are going to talk about horror gaming and an idiot's guide, and we're also going to be talking about horror films in general. We teased this with our Spooktober quick video, so we're going to go back to it. Obviously, me and Badger Jr. did our Halloween special yesterday, so if you want to check that out, we reviewed some Halloween sweets and we sat and ate them for 10 minutes, which is always fun, so please do check that if you haven't yet. And me and Nick are going to talk about horror films and games, and we're going to start off by talking about horror films, and then we're going to move on to my idiot's guide to horror gaming. Okay, Nick, so let's talk about some horror films. What are some of your favourite things about horror, and what advice would you have for people if they were going to get into the horror film market slash gaming?
To be honest with you, I've always been very take it or leave it with horror films. I actually studied it at A-level. When I did A-level media studies.
Horror films and A-level, really?
Yeah, because
okay.
the thing is, a lot of techniques in horror films have been gone on to be used in other genres as well.
That's true, yeah.
We had, it was the horror genre was the first one to really make use of handheld cameras.
This is true, yeah, the found footage technique with the Blair Witch Project and many others.
Even before then, when Halloween in the 70s
this is true.
Was launched. If you've ever seen the opening scene of Halloween.
Yeah, where the boy puts the mask on.
Yep, it was one of the first times that handheld camera technique had ever been used.
Yes.
You can imagine the shock that people had.
Yes, and that's what makes it so visceral, I guess. There's something about horror films being filmed with lower quality camera techniques that makes them realer. There's a film called VHS that uses that. Don't know if you've heard of that one.
That's the kind of like short film collection, isn't it?
Yes, it's like and there was two as well. And there was also another couple of ones. Yeah, VHS is basically a collection of old sort of handheld footage stories. Some of them are supernatural, some involve serial killers and all that sort of thing. And then there's a twist at the end that involves every story. And I recommend VHS, Halloween, and of course Blair Witch Project 1, 2 and 3 if you like handheld stuff. If you want things that are going to look real and make you really scared, that is one of the things that I would say is one of the best that you could watch and really scary.
Yeah. Some other ones. I mean, I think the only franchises that I really enjoyed were Scream, because I really liked the satirical element of it. Very self-aware. And the other one that I've watched a fair bit of is the Final Destination series.
Yes, definitely
Simply
great.
because it's categorized with a lot of the other slasher films, but it's not really a slasher film.
No, this is true.
I was never a big fan of those.
Yeah.
I liked the way that Scream parodied it to some extent, but the thing with those is there's a lot more. I like the kind of the element of kind of like things happening,
surprise, isn't there? And there's like not a way to quantify it. And I think the problem with that is the Final Destination ones did get more absurd as they went along. Yeah. But the first one is a horror gem. It makes you on your seat. You're never too sure what's going to happen. You're worried for the characters because mostly they're innocent people. As it went along, the lines got blurred. And the same thing happened with Saw. Ironically, the fact that you end up rooting for the bad guy in a way ruins it. The first one of the Final Destination ones was great because you're still rooting for the good guys. You wanted them to escape death. Whereas I think as the sequels go on with these films, you actually find yourself wanting the bad guy to win.
It's kind of like this stage where a lot of the characters just become quite dislikable in a lot of ways.
That's right, they're there to get killed. You don't think they're going to survive. They're literally there to be cannon fodder for the bad guy to kill. It's like with Scream, it's like with a lot of the ones. Urban Legend, if you haven't seen that horror film, recommend it. I Know What You Did Last Summer And of course, I still know what you did last summer, and I always know what you did last summer.
About that
Yeah,
one.
there was 3 of those. The last one was a direct-to-DVD special. Don't watch it. It turns the human aspect of the killer into a supernatural one. You know, it's a bit late now. You know, we're on the 3rd film, and now you're turning the character from a real person into like a supernatural demon. That's far-reaching. You know, and I like the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, but they sort of ruined it, really.
I think the other thing that I think that we wanted to mention is that if you're looking to make your own films,
this is true.
Horror is a really good one to get into
because of the low budget. Of course,
because lots of it low budget. You can get away with filming stuff on relatively amateur equipment, which actually works really well for you.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Blair Witch Project, which of course was 20 years ago, 20 years old this year.
Wow!
It was. 1999 that came out.
Wowzers!
And,
okay.
You know, and at the time, I mean, I remember I just started university when that came out. And, you know, it was really unheard of. We've seen loads of found footage movies
Yes,
since.
I mean, it has literally changed the film industry. And it has recently, sorry Nick to interject, it recently has had a new game out as well. So we've had the 3rd film and there's been a new game on Xbox One. So the franchise is still well and alive.
And the thing, if you're looking to create films, it's a really interesting one to get into because it's a sort of one where you can work on a low budget and get away with it.
Yeah.
I worked on a horror movie earlier this year called Toy Box Killers.
I remember you
is coming
saying.
out soon. Hopefully.
Straight to DVD.
Well, in the best possible way. That is very much and that works very, and there's a lot of there's heaps of gore and stuff like that.
Yes,
but it's produced, with what it's produced on, it's actually going to work out pretty well. I reckon.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You know, so yes, but look out for that one. I think I imagine where you've got channels like Shudder and things like that, which specialise it, they are probably quite open to
that sort of thing, and that might even be televised. So getting back to the Blair Witch Project, Nick, you've seen it probably quite a few times. I mean, I've seen it about 20 times. Can you tell me some of the film techniques and some of the ideas that they would have with that? What do you think? Do you think anyone could go out and do that? Do you think anyone could go out and film a successful film if they had the motivation?
Well, I mean, obviously you're going to need to do a lot of planning. With the thing with the Blair Witch Project is it didn't really have a lot of special effects.
No, this is true.
Also, you know, the key thing that people were saying with it wasn't gory, it was psychological.
That's true.
So it was all about what wasn't seen.
That's right,
So it's very much all about, so it's very much relying on that. But, you know, you're relying on, the thing is, you've got to kind of make it believable that the camera will still be running no matter what.
That's right, yeah. And then you can chop out the bad bits.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and that's, you know, if it's going on the basis that it's compiled from the footage available,
that's right, yeah.
Then you have to clarify that.
Yes. I mean, I believe there was, quote me if I'm wrong, because it was a long time ago I heard this fact, but I believe there was literally 20 hours worth of footage of it, and then they had to cut it up.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
That's the same with producing film. Any film, you know, you will end up with hours and hours worth of footage.
Yes.
You know, as long as it's not doing the same thing where like on a regular drama where it'll cut to where you'll have like a wide shot, it'll cut to a close up of one character. Obviously, that's not going to work in found footage. You know, but apart from that, I think what you need to do is you just got to think about how you're going to use it. You know, you can use a lot of kind of like extreme close-ups,
that's true,
blurry images and things like that, and think how are you going to create that? You know, but I think an advantage that horror has over many other styles is that obviously, you know, if you're going to have gore, then you've got to make that look convincing. You know?
Practical effects need to be convincing. There's lots of
people out there in the makeup industry who look to get into that, and a lot of them who are looking to get work or get some work on a feature film. You know, you might well find that it's actually easier to find those kinds of people than it would be for others. So you know, but the whole thing with making your own own film is, you know, if you're producing it on a zero budget, you know, are the people who are going to work on it get out of it?
That's true.
If you've got actors looking for show reel footage, if you've got someone who's worked previously as a camera operator but is looking to work on something else, you know, if they're looking to become like a director of photography, if they're looking to, you know, there might be working on producing, you know, first time they've done it. So whenever you're making any kind of film, think about, you know, look at, you know, people who actively want to do the jobs that they're doing. But think about, you know, what can you get out of it? You know, it's as much about, you know, getting things for yourself as it is trying to produce something
and entertain and help everyone else.
Exactly.
And of course, it wouldn't be the first time we've all worked for a free lunch.
Indeed.
So now we're going to move on to the section of the show I want to call The Idiot's Guide to Horror Gaming. Now, I was inspired by this section of the show by ClassicGamer.com, aka Sam. As I'm sure you know Sam, don't you, Classic? And this was inspired by him. Now, a lot of the time people were like, oh my god, it's a horror game, what am I going to do? Well, first of all, you would need to explore every part of the area you can. That is the number one thing.
But just make sure nothing jumps out of you while you're doing it.
It will, so you need to make sure you're a bit careful with that sort of thing. The trope of these things is obviously lighting, lack of. You need to make sure you explore the area, find all the different things you need, like keys and things like that, explore all the different bits of the room that are well lit or darker, make sure you conserve batteries. Do not use all your batteries straight away. The game will try to make you use batteries. I don't care what horror game it is. Silent Hill, Outlast, Resident Evil, if there's a disposable amount of things that you need, like gunpowder or herbs or whatever, the game will pretty much try to force you to use all of this up straight away. Don't. Feel free to restart the game 6 or 7 times. That's what I had to do with The Evil Within. I literally had to scrap a year's worth of progress with that game and start the whole game again. Yes, I know. But the thing is, it was better because then after that I completed it within a month. You mustn't rush. You've got to explore and build up your character. In the case of Outlast and Outlast 2, be wary of where the natural light sources are. Don't use your battery power as much as the game wants you to do. Conserve ammo. Make sure you hide as much as possible before you get to the places. Make sure you run when needed. All these things. And also, I would definitely tell you the number one tip, be desensitized to these things. The game will work, and this is any horror game, the game will work on scaring you and stopping you getting to your objective. So the key to that...
As any video game would, you know, that's the Goombas and Koopa Troopers in Mario. That's what they're there for.
Well, this is exactly what this is. You know, the big hulking guy in Outlast is a Goomba. He is a massive flying turtle. He is, you know, Bowser. He is something to get in your way. So you need to make sure you're not scared of it. You're desensitized. And this is where watching horror films and sort of making sure you're aware of what's going on in the game will help you. Because if you're scared of it, it will make you die. If you're jump scared, if you don't want to go to the specific position because the bad guy's there, you will die. You need to make sure you hide and you make sure you go forward. Slow and steady wins the race with these games. There is no rush. They purposely make you want to take your time or rush and die. The key is find the natural light sources, hide in the dark when necessary, crouch, and of course, you know, use the lockers and all the different things provided. You know, make sure you do not get scared. Take a breather. All these things are needed. If you're scared, the game will instantly kill you and it will know it. It's a case with Worse Than Death. It's the case with all these different horror games. If you're scared, the game will realise. Trust me, Alien Isolation was a killer for it because there was even a mode on there that would notice you breathing and it would look at your camera and your facial expressions and it would know that you were scared and make the game worse.
Crumbs.
Yes.
So this is why all your video game streams take so long because, well, they've got to be. Otherwise you just die all the time.
Yeah, well, I just die all the time anyway. Zarek always mentions the fact that the legendary Outlast 2 3-hour stuck stream, and it's true, because I didn't realise the horror tropes. I didn't realise what was happening and how the game was developing. And of course, that's another tip for Outlast. Try not to stick to a specific route. The first one will allow you a bit of freedom, so explore and hide where possible. The second one works on a fixed route. So if you were playing the second Outlast, try to be careful and work out the puzzles in your own time, whilst not getting your giblets cut off by a mad witch. Yes, that actually happens. So
some of these game developers have way too much time on their hands and too much of a budget.
And too much of a budget, yes. And this is why I like the old school games like Worse Than Death, Home, and of course Ellen, which I'm hoping to get for the channel soon. I love the old school stuff. You know, some of the stuff with bad graphics or 8-bit graphics and things like that. I know, bad graphics, but it's bad on purpose, and that's the point of it. You know, it adds to the atmosphere of the game. So please be wary of that. The atmosphere and the scare factor are there. That's what it's there for. The lack of music is to actually scare you. Trust me on this one. If you were to play
that, actually,
yeah, if you were to play Silent Hill and had My Little Pony on in the background, you wouldn't be scared, would you? It's the atmosphere and the spooks that get you. So make sure you're desensitized to it by playing something really random in the background, like Sunshine and Lollipops. And on that note, I hope you guys all have a really happy Halloween, and thank you to everyone that's done the birthday wishes and things like that. And I really hope you enjoyed this Halloween video game and horror film special. Thanks very much for watching, Barmy Badger Army, and we will see you next time. And it's bye from me.
And it's bye from him.
Bye for now, Barmy Badger Army.
Happy birthday from me.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Right, you guys have a lovely time, and we'll see you soon. And fingers crossed I'll be able to upload this on my birthday. Wouldn't that be smashing?
Yes.
If not,
if you upload it on the 1st of November, everyone's going to be like, really?
It'll be a bit lame. So I'm going to try my best to squeeze this in before the end of the day. Thanks for watching.
If you're watching this on his birthday,
thanks very much, and don't forget to say hi in the comments. We really appreciate your feedback. So as much chatting and waffle as possible. See you later. Bye.